Well, hello all. Fingers crossed we are live. Who knows? The way the day's gone today, who knows what's going to happen on this live? Well, it looks like we're live on YouTube, and it's telling me I'm live on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, give me a comment, because then we'll know. Good evening, Brenda, and good evening, Margaret. Seems to be a bit of a rush to see who was here first. You even beat me tonight, you lot. Good grief. Must be excited for our new launch, you see, that's what it is. So we'll just hang around a little bit and see if somebody from Facebook can comment to let me know that we are there as well. And fingers crossed we are. YouTube is good. And Tina has just commented from Facebook, so fingers crossed, that means we are there. Yay! Cool, it doesn't take a lot to please me today. So, it's been one of those days, so we're just going to take a breath and we're going to have some fun with the new stuff. Hi, Sally, I think that is. Sazzy Moore. I think that's Sally. Hi, Debbie. Yeah, so lots of you coming in. Now I've suddenly got a twitchy nose. Evening, Carol. Hi, Helen. Hi, Sarah. I saw that you're joining us in Portsmouth, Sarah. It'll be a fun day. Hi, Maxine. Right, so lots of you are coming in. So shall we get started? Right, so as I said, I'm giving you all a sneak early release, evening Trisha, of our latest product. So we will take this one off. We will switch over to this and we will get started. So if you haven't already worked it out, it's new dies. Hi, Carol. Hi, Carol. Two different ones coming in. So we will start off with our biggest selection. Hi, Liz. Enjoy choir. Liz is rushing off to choir. She's going to join us later. Hi, Maria. Hi, Chris. Hi, Dawn. Right, so let's get started. First off, we have our fun foliage detailed dies. So you get 24 dies in this package. So you've got this one, you've got one that's got some slight little dots in it to give it a little bit of texture. So you've got those two, then you've got this one, so you've got top and bottom, and again left, right, top and bottom on all of these ones. So they cut out like this. So how often do you go and make flowers and think, I just don't want to cut those leaves out, or I want a little bit more detailed leaf? Perfect for this. Hi, Jules. Hi, Margaret. You sneaked in there. Yes, we're doing much. Well, we are down to our last. We've got one more show to go, Margaret. Margaret says, hope you're well after a busy weekend last weekend. We were in Kent last weekend and it was a bit bonkers. Hello, Wendy, who was also in Kent. So this is our first set of dies, fun foliage details dies. As I say, you get 24 dies in this one. So you get just the general leaves, you get a few different bits and pieces. So I think that's going to be a really, really useful set of dies. And then I'll just move a few things around. Next we have a blooming corner detail die. Oh, I've just realised that my light is bouncing off. Bear with me 2 seconds, ladies and gents. If we do that, hopefully that will stop that happening. So, blooming corner detailed dies. That's a little better. Still not great, but a little better. And with this one, you get 7 dies, but you actually get 8 flowers, if that makes sense. Because one of the dies is so little, we've connected 2 flowers together. So you get the larger corner, the smaller corner. You get these flowers. So they layer up here, and then you get the dinky flowers that layer up onto there. Hi, Josie. Hello, Carol. So all the Carols are in tonight. Hi, Veronica. Tonight's going to be a little bit quicker than normal. Not to worry anybody. Nothing major's happened. But my mum's in A&E. Well, she's not. She's in she's at the hospital having her finger repaired because she decided to put it through an electric blender at lunchtime. So I've got to get back to her, bless her. Waiting to be sewn back up. No problem, just wouldn't stop bleeding. So then, evening Janice. So that's our blooming corner dies. Then we have our Flowers for Design dies. Now this is one that lots of people have asked us for a long time. We just hadn't done it when we released all the others. So you've got 13 dies in this one. So you're getting a detailed version and a solid version. So you can mat and layer those up together. And then obviously you get your flourish, and then you've got a couple of little leaves to go with that set. So again, a really, really useful set. Then we have a Crazy Daisies. Again, so you get that lovely big flourish. You're going to get a little butterfly, an extra butterfly. And then you're getting the flowers, the detailed flowers, and then you get the solids of the flowers as well. So this is what you're going to get. So you get this lovely big flourish. Then you get the extra flowers if you want to put a different layer on top. So you wanted it in green, but you want your flowers in pink. You can do that. And then you've got obviously the solids as well. So you can change the colour, which we are going to use in tonight's quick demo. Thank you, Wendy. I will pass that on. Mum will be fine. Thank you, Carol. There's no way she wouldn't let me redo tonight. Good grief. So then we are going on to, this is something that you will all recognise, Shining Star. A slight couple of little tweaks to this one. So you've got happy birthday to you. Well done. Thank you. Congratulations. You get this lovely star. And then these pieces here, if you really want to go into it, you can take those tiny little dots and use them. But my idea with these was to be able to cut into the card and take the negative away, leave the positive, or whichever way around it is. You know what I mean? So the dots will stay within your card and the bits that you see in black will disappear. Hope that makes sense. This is what I mean. So this is everything you get on there. So this set is a big set. So you get this lovely big happy birthday to you. You also get the layering section for that. This is what I mean by it leaves the negatives in, positives in. So yeah, it will cut those pieces out. So you could put coloured card underneath. You could do it coming off the star. So you could do it so they jotted off out the star but left it within your card. That kind of stuff. So you've got your thank you and your negative. You've got well done and your negative, or your positive, or your layer, whatever you want to call it. The same with your congratulations. You've got that lovely big star. And from that star, you can get 11 individual stars. So there's a lot to work with there, but that happy birthday to you is just the best. I love it. Hi, Margaret. And then last but not least, we have our Connect the Dots nesting dies. This looks crazy, doesn't it, when you see it like that? But actually, it's not as crazy as it looks. So remember how we did the nesting hexagons? So this is kind of just a version of that. So you get the smaller one, the next size up, and the next size up. It's great. You can use it for wreaths. You can use it just as it is. We've got a few samples to show you from the design team as well. Design team, we've got two lovely ladies that help us out amazingly. We've got Helen and we have got Hazel, both of which have worked like troopers for me, and we couldn't do this without them. So thank you very much, ladies. So let's have a nosy at what cards they've made. As I say, this is a little bit quicker than I would normally do, but bear with us. We're doing. So first off, this one is from Helen, and she used a mixture of different things here. So underneath here, which you can't really see. Hi, Margaret. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Kathy. So we've got the Flowers for Design die here, but she hasn't used the negative. She's just used that detailed piece. So you can I show you? Well, I've got something here Helen has used. So we can go all the way through there, which is really effective. Also used our fun foliage on the background. We've got the thank you from the Shining Star stamp set and the dotty circle in the background for the die. So if I come in a bit closer, you can see that. So they're all sparkly. So that's the first one. Hi, Tina. I'm trying to do this without dropping everything. Oh, that's a bit top heavy. You may get a sneak peek earlier than expected. I'm just trying to do this so that I don't damage anything as we're going along. So then the next one is from Hazel, and she has used a sentiment from Floral Best, Memento Black ink and coloured papers on this one. So again, really simple but really effective. Coloured papers, just die cut, and then that sentiment popped on there. Really pretty. I would agree with you, Dawn. Dawn's put, love decay, people do anything to get out of Christmas dinner. Yes, they would. Another one from Hazel. Flowers for Design. It's a 7x7 card. Cut in yellow paper and white card. Sentiment is from Vintage Floral Corner with Memento Desert Sand on there. Hi, Karen. So really simple, but again, really, really effective. You don't have to make things really complicated to make them work. These are all great cards for if you're in a bit of a hurry. So another one from Hazel, using Connect the Dots and a Blooming Corner cut in coloured card. Sentiment is from Proud Day. How effective is that? I may have just popped in maybe a little gem or something, but keeping it this without the detail on the flowers, it means that you can put it through as a normal size letter, but you still get all that detail on the flowers. There's just no dimension to it. So she's used the small and the medium circle here from the Connect the Dots. Really effective. And then that tiny little sentiment in the corner. Next, we have another one from Hazel. Connect the Dots, sentiment from Vintage Floral Corner. And it's a 6x6 card. So she's used the two different sizes. Oh, doesn't really show hugely on there, does it? Get the angle. So, sorry, I was reading a message from Helena. Hello, Helena, hope you're okay. So the sentiment on this is Vintage Floral Corner. So all she's done is stuck them down onto a piece of white card, white cutouts, and then she's just trimmed them off, so it kind of gives it a different effect. It kind of looks a bit like, you know, those paintings that everybody's doing that has got rope and things like that on it. That's kind of the effect it's got, which I think is really cool. And then this one is from Helen, and it's Connect the Dots. The sentiment is from Shining Star. The stencil is Dotty Circle again. And this is done, and I've actually done a very similar thing, but not with the mirror card. So she's used mirror card, black card, white card, a grey ink. And then on here, we've got the mirror card and black layered on top of each other. And the black's on the top. And then that well done on this the well done in black, and then a couple of little gems popped on those circles. Thank you, Pam. So another couple from Hazel, and this one is using Blooming Corner die, 6x6 card, spiral stencil. Sentiment is from Floral Garland. So wishing you a very happy birthday. That lovely spiral stencil, just used a section of it here and then popped those flowers on with, and it's a mirror card if you can see. And all that detail comes through. And all she's done is take one of the smaller flowers and popped it in the centre in a different colour. But again, really, really effective. I'm trying to keep that in shot. There we go. And then on to the next one. Blooming Corner die, a 6x6 card again, ink blended background, and sentiment is Floral Spray. So you're never more than a thought away. Really, really effective. I know I had to send a card to a friend of mine who lost her dad, and at that time in your life, you get lots and lots of cards. But then on the day of the funeral, I just sent her one that said I was thinking of her, because it is a tough day, isn't it? And she was as close to her dad as I am to mine. So that's kind of where that sentiment came from. You're never more than a thought away. Now on to the next one. This one is from Helen, and she has used Fun Foliage, Shining Star for the sentiment, Connect the Dots, and Blooming Corner. See, they all work well together. Stencil is our leaf stencil, and the ink she uses Shaded Lilac, Squeezed Lemonade, and Spun Sugar. So there's lots going on here. So we've got that lovely big happy birthday to you from our Shining Star. We've got two different layers of the Connect the Dots. No, sorry, I lied. One layer of Connect the Dots. So the largest die. She's used the flowers from Blooming Corner and our fun foliage leaves on there. So that's what I meant. You can mix and match them all together. So those little foliage leaves come in so handy for all sorts of things. Now we're on to Crazy Daisy. So this one is from Hazel, a 6x6 floral arrangement sentiment, and it's been stamped with Versamark and white embossing powder. How cute is that? Literally a white die cut onto coloured paper, layered onto black with a sentiment embossed in white. Now, we're not getting many comments from Facebook, so I'm not sure if we're still live on Facebook. Hopefully we are still there and you're just all enjoying the fabulous samples from our design team. Again, another one from Hazel, 6x6, Crazy Daisy die cut with black card, and the background's been embossed with our mesh stencil, and the sentiment is from Floral Spray. Those we love don't go away, they walk beside us every day. So I don't know if you can pick it up, but can you see that this has been run? Thank you, Josie. She says, yes, you're here. Still okay from here. Thank you very much, Tina. So you can see this has been run through a die cut machine. So it gives you that little bit of texture. But how simple is that? And she's actually left, if I bring it up, you can see that where it's die cut, she has purposely put all those little black bits back in the middle. So it just gives it some texture. And then we've got another one from Helen. Oh, they nearly all fell then. Evening Joan. So Crazy Daisy and Shining Star and the leaf stencil again being used here. Again, so simple. This is exactly what I had this in mind when I added the extra bits into this set of dies. So she's cut the die out in green and then she's matted and layered over the top. Can you see that we've got a silver layer and a white layer solid on top? So you can change the colour of your flowers. You don't have to cut it all out in black or all out in white. You can layer it up and hide anything underneath that you don't want it to be there. And then that sentiment is from our Shining Star die set. Another lovely card. And then we have another one from Helen. Fun Foliage and Shining Star, and the stencil in the background is rainbow dots. So she's taken those stars that come from basically it's the waste out of the flower, out of the star. She's got the foliage across there to make like a wreathy, garlandy looking thing, and popped those stars down and popped them onto some foam pads, so there's a little bit of height to them. Really beautiful. And then she's matted and layered those dies, so she's just used the sentiment. You're managing to watch too. See, look, there's my mum. She's in the hospital. We've had no signal all the time that she's been in there. Now she's watching me. Hi, Mum. I'll be there soon. So again, she's cut that out in gold mirror card and just layered it on top of that layered section that we've put in their set of dies. Then another one from Hazel. So Hazel has used Fun Foliage in various green papers on a 6x6 card. The sentiment is from Relatively Little Words. She used our silver embossing powder, and the bow is from that Christmas floral designs die that we brought out on our Christmas release. Evening Jill. So how cute is that? So she's got a little silver bow, and then this is the foliage just on a die cut circle. You could do that with the connect the dots. The smaller one of the connect the dots would look really effective with that too. But that's all the different foliages, all matted and layered, or not matted and layered, all layered up. How sweet is that? They all know, Mum, that I'm doing this and then I'm coming to rescue you. And then this one is another one from Hazel, a 7x7 Fun Foliage die cuts, yellow cardstock, sentiment from Floral Garland. Simple, clean, easy card to make. Just a couple of those little foliage pieces cut out in yellow, sentiment stamped on there, and a couple of matting and layering sections done. Clean, simple, easy card. Don't be scared of that white space. So we are on to another one from Hazel, 6x6. She's used Shining Star die in gold holographic card, and the sentiment is from Shining Star as well. So again, don't be scared to use the white, leave the white card. That well done really pops. there's loads of people taking different types of exams and I don't know, ballet classes and all of that all comes in at this time of year. Recitals, all things going on. So really, really fab die for anything like that. A great birthday card die for men's cards. Children, teenagers, just change the colour up and you're away. And then you've got that well done as well. Then we have one more from Hazel here, which is using the spiral stencil and Shining Star die with the nesting hexagon in the middle. So this is the centre of the nesting hexagon of the smaller set. Then you've got thank you from the die Shining Star with our spiral stencil. So the last, what was that, 4 releases, all tied in one card. So this is what I say, Honeydew Crafts all will work with each other. One more big card and then a couple of little ones to show you. So this one is Shining Star die, and then she's used a stencil that we had out, one of our first ever releases, called Stars. So if you've still got that, this would be amazing. And then that fabulous happy birthday to you across there. So the gold star, we all like a gold star, don't we? And then that stencil in the background, and then the fabulous die cut out in the middle there. Again, really simple, but Helen's also gone one step a little bit further. Now these were all tied up in a little piece of white ribbon, but I thought I would show you. So we've got 4 little cards, and then we've got a thank you, and that's our dot dash stencil behind there. Then we've got well done with our corner waves stencil. Then there is thank you with our crazy, ooh, the name's left me. I have to come back to that. Can't remember the name of that stencil. And then we've got our leaf stencil. She written on the back. No, she didn't write it on the back. Chaos. That's what that's called. Chaos. And then we've got the well done with the leaves on the back. So that's a really nice, cute little idea to do. And then you can just, and then you can gift something that somebody can use, which is always really nice. Or if you've got kids or grandkids that you know are going to be sending thank you cards, this would be a really nice way of doing it. Give them, make the cards up to give to them. Oh, Martin called me. He's coming to get me now. Oh, there you go. Mum's on her way home. Even better. So you could just tie that all together and you've got a really nice little gift to give somebody, which is really nice to be able to gift them something that they can give out if they're not able to make them themselves. So I think that's a really nice little gift to have, and particularly at this time of year, just give people a bundle of notelets. How cute is that? Right, so we will now move on to making a card, which is what you all really want to see anyway, isn't it? So there we go. We are all ready to roll. So what are we using? We are going to be using our white cardstock, our black cardstock, our quirky floral stencil, Tina, she is been in the hospital because she managed to slice her finger on a electric hand blender at lunchtime today, and it was still bleeding 4 hours later. So yes, that's where she is. So she is fine. Just needed to get that stitched up. So we are using the sentiment out of our Shining Star detail die, and we are using our Crazy Daisy die. Obviously our regular glue, which comes in the large and the small. We're using our blending brushes, and the coloured inks we're using is Picked Raspberry, Lumberjack Plaid, Mustard Seed. I'm having to move things around, can you tell? Mermaid Lagoon, and Twisted Citron. I just about squeeze them all in there, look. So that's what is going on here. So I will just pop these off to one side. We are going to need that stencil. And I have said to you many a time before, ladies and gents, when I talk to you on the screen, I have to have a sunken down seat, otherwise you can't fit me in. But I can't craft when I'm nearly sitting on the floor. So we'll pop that back up. Just pop these bits out of the way. So let's get this set up and we can get crafting. I never leave. Hello, Linda. You will need to either carry on watching till the end and we'll bring them back on so that you can see them, or pop back and watch later because we've gone through all the new stuff, but we're about to use the new stuff. Look at that. Look, brand new ink pad. Don't you love it? I might regret using a brand new ink pad. We have got the backup just in case, the old one. So we're going to pop our brushes on just so that I can just grab and go. Red. We're nearly there, I promise, ladies and gents. We're nearly there. I can't leave all of these open beforehand because, you know me, I'd shove something in it, wouldn't I? So, what do we need? We need to get started. That's what we need to do. Right, cards for tonight. So first off, we are using an 8x8 card blank. Then we've got a 7 3/4 inch black, a 7.5 inch white, a 7 1/4 inch black. Take that one off, I think. And then we have got, and I know you hate this, but it's to do with the size of the stencil, I'm going to admit this time. It was dyes, by the way, Linda. I didn't mention that. So we've also got a 6 7/8 square white cardstock. And then scraps of white and black card just for die cutting. Let's take this one off and you'll get a full screen again, hopefully. Oh, that's a bit tilted somehow. Is that better? Oh, now you're getting all sorts going on. Maybe if I pull out a little bit. Oh, away. You get a bit more of my table, but hopefully. So I'm just going to stick these first few pieces down and out of our way. Oh, drop that. I think they'd left my mum waiting around longer. And then when she went to question it, while these people were going through past her that came in after her, they said that she'd got they'd got her down as a head injury. So, yeah, good job. It wasn't a head injury, hey, because they kept her waiting. Now, I have inked around the edge of this one just with a pink ink, but just to blend in some of the colours. Otherwise, it was just a little bit too white. So I've left that one with a little bit of ink around the edge. I'm sure you all know how to do that, but we will show you a bit further along if you need to know. Literally, that is just taking your blending brush and you're just going around the edge. Then we'll put the black one on as well, and then our 4 pieces become one, which, as you know, is always a nice feeling for me. It's 1 less thing to, or 3 less things to lose. Right, I'm just going to pop that off to one side. That is literally those layers done. We're then going to take our magnetic board, which I appear to have forgotten to wipe over when I was prepping. So this is a good question, Jill. She's asking me, when I design my stamps, do I know before I start what it is I want to design, or do I just sit and draw? So some of our designs I draw, some of them are licensed images, and some of them are done by a couple of designers that I've used. I very rarely go to designers because they're quite often artists and they put in too much detail for the stamp, which gives you nothing to do with it. So you need to leave it more open, than they kind of understand how to do it. So quite often I will start with something and end up with something completely different. Or if I'm buying designs to do something, it's usually just what takes my fancy. Very rarely would I use a design just as it's bought. Quite often I'd do something to it anyway. So yeah, that's where we kind of go with that. She'll be fine, Linda. She's just taken, well, she hasn't even taken the top off. It's oh, let me take this one off again. I don't think I know how to do that. I've got to remember how to do that. There we go. It's just her index finger, and she's managed to slice from like here round and up. Yeah, really unpleasant, but she'll be fine. So we are going in with picked raspberry first, and I'm just going to use it quite lightly along the edges. I'm chuckling to myself. Jules is asking me if I have used up all of those wet wipes yet. I got some wet wipes and they were awful. They smell awful. Same brand that I have used all along. So I don't know what's going on with them. But no, I haven't managed to use them all up yet, Jules. I don't use them that many. So I've gone a bit high up with my pink. So I'm just going to go over. Thankfully, my red is quite a strong red colour. So I'm not going solid to any particular point. I have gone a bit closer to the edge here just because I've done one earlier that I didn't go close to the edge, so I thought I would try this one this way around and see. So that was lumberjack plaid, and I'm just going to go back in and mix those two just along the line there, and the same here, just to blend those colours in. But I don't want to be in exactly the same place all the way along there, so we're in and out a little bit. And then we have got, oh, the new green. Don't you just love a new ink? As I say, I might regret that. So we've got our twisted citron, and I'm going to go back in with the yellow to mix those two together. And then last but not least, we've got Mermaid Lagoon, which is a colour I don't use that often, but when I do use it, I think to myself, well, I haven't used that for a while. I like that one. Why don't I use it? So go back and try out all of those different dyes or colours that you've got, inks that you've got in all the different colour brands, and just play with them, because so many times we go back to the same colours that we always use and then miss out on some really fab colours. Now, I probably should check that before I take all the ink dye. Yeah, we're going to go with that. So that's my image stenciled through, and the different colours blend into each other. Little tip for cleaning a stencil. I always keep one of these, piece of kitchen paper, those wipes, and you're just going to wipe over gently. Now this has got a few flicky up bits, so you need to be a little bit careful when you're wiping over if you've got the quirky foliage stencil. So just a little gentle wipe. And by doing it on kitchen paper, you're not soaking the piece underneath. It's soaking in there, so your back's not getting wet, and the front will dry off really quickly. Then I'll just flip it over, do that, and that's my stencil completely dry and ready to go. And my workspace is also completely dry. Right, that's my stenciling done. Now, I am not going to stick this down yet. So I've done one earlier, which I just did a smaller amount. So we'll have a look when we put it together as to which way. And I also inked round the edge of this, which I haven't done on the other one yet. So I have die cut, as I said, some of this out already. So this is just black, a die cut in black. Nothing fancy done to it, just a complete straight die cut, straight through the machine, black. I have also done a couple of our negatives, and I'm just going to cut out a couple as well so that we've got a few bits done. So again, as I said, I want you to keep all those little scraps that you've got, because we're going to use them for all these silly little dies that we've got. All those little leaves that are there, you can just ink up a piece of cardstock and colour it in. So flat to the mat, card on top. Pop that through the machine. And it will cut out that complete negative piece. Just just going to get rid of that bit because we don't need that. So I've got the 3 sizes of these 3 sets of flowers. Now obviously I now need to make a decision as to which one I'm going to use, because that will determine what colour I make those. Actually, we can die cut our other piece first. I'm just going to pop those to one side. Now this next one is going to make my camera wobble for a couple of minutes. But I wanted to show you how to do this. Just need to fit a gap in here somewhere. If you missed it on previous demos. So if you've got a die that's got a lot of detail in it, it's a little trick that we've heard. Oh, I've already caught some of it. I was hoping not to do that. So my die is under here. Paper on top. Bubble wrap on top of that. Cutting mat on top of that. And I've obviously got my cutting mats underneath here as well. So I've got my magnetic board, holds my die down, cardstock on top of that. And then I'm going to run this through. Now, obviously, it will make my camera wobble a little bit. I'm trying not to do too much. And hopefully, on one pass, it will all cut out and fall out. All those little pieces. Martin's been a good man because his Maltese football team are playing tonight as well, so he's gone out to get mum and his team is playing, and he doesn't often get to watch that, so bad timing all round really. Never mind. At least my mother's kept her finger, which is always a good thing. Right, so that's the die cutting with bubble wrap. Instantly comes out, no faffing around. And that's not just with Honeydew Craft dies. That will work with all manufacturing, all dies that have been manufactured. Some of those really difficult, really detailed dies that are on the market. You can reuse the same piece a few times. Sarah's asked if we can reuse the bubble wrap. So yes, you can reuse it. You'll find that as and when you've reused it too many times, sometimes you'll end up cutting through it, and that'll be no good. But I'll use it 3 or 4 times, and then I keep the pieces that I've used 3 or 4 times, and then I put maybe 3 or 4 pieces of those together, and I've been known to cut out maybe 30 or 40 dies with the same piece. So you just have to work with what you've got. If it carries on working, keep it. If not, move on. A roll of bubble wrap in my local post office costs me about £1.50, so it's nothing major. But yeah, it's brilliant. If you're struggling with any dies, it's a really good tip. I'd like to say it was ours, but it wasn't. Mum saw it on Facebook, so. Right, so as I said, we need to make some decisions here, whether I'm going to go with the bigger, bolder piece or the less is more effect. I'm not sure. I need to go off camera for a moment. I think the bigger, bolder will be too big and bold. So we're going to go with the less is more. Here's one I did earlier. So I have inked around the edge of this one. And again, it's not really showing. I've used Twisted Citron and literally just went in all the way around the edge. So I will now stick this piece on as well, because that's that decision made. Right, so now I'm going to take my white piece and roughly work out where I want this to sit. Hi, Teresa. Roughly where I want that die to sit, and then work out which colours I'm going to use. So this piece is sitting with the pink and red. So I'm going to take my two ink colours, and just with what's on the brush, I'm not really going to add much more. I'm kind of just going to blend over the top of that. Does not need to be perfect. Spin it round and do the same with the red. And then we're going to take our die, and that will sit over the top of that one. Can you see that? And then you're going to do the same with the next one. So we're going to say this one's going to sit somewhere around the green and yellow. So again, I'm going to take my greens and yellows. My yellow is going to be at this side because this flower is, you're not going to really see it there. So this flower is going to be, is kind of upside down, and the yellow comes before the green. So we'll put the yellow on, and then we'll take the green, and we'll put some green on the bottom there. And that one will sit under there. You get my drift? So far we have got this kind of thing going on. Ish. And then last but not least, that top one, roughly I'm thinking we're going to be greens and blues. So I'm going to just pop that back there. Actually, it's more greens and yellows, so there'll be no blue. So we're going to take this one. Now be careful with this one because you've got a smaller join in the middle where these two petals sit together. So again, we're going to go in with some green up here and the yellow on the bottom. Just be careful with that wiggly bit that you're not going to cause yourself a problem. Teresa, we will forgive you for forgetting that we were on tonight. Only this once though. So we're gonna, if you haven't already seen this little trick, a silicone pastry brush will become your new best friend when you're doing dies that are intricate. Now I don't want to get this white, so I'm not going to be too heavy-handed. I'm just going to try and keep it on this white flower. I don't want to get those swirly floral pieces. And I hope that's enough glue to hold that on there. I'm going to do the same up here. We don't want those swirly pieces, we just want the flower. As much of it as we can anyway. And then last but not least, our two little flowers at the top here. And flip those over. Let's stick that down. This one's a little bit more tricky because you've got to line up two flowers at the same time. So it may push your buttons a little bit. Okay. If I turn that over and put it on the white, you will see what I mean by those flowers. So we've layered those up. Now I want to make this really pop. So I'm going to take that black and very lightly I am going to dab this all over. And it may cause this to stick down a little bit, which will be a little bit of your friend if I'm truthfully honest, because it can be a little bit fiddly what we're about to do next. We're going to take our die that we've layered up and starting on this bottom flower and just offsetting it ever so slightly. As I said, it's a little bit fiddly, but I just want to be able to make that really pop off the page. Teresa, it is literally, Teresa's asking what it is. It is a silicone pastry brush that we've just cut the tassels off the top of. So we've cut them to, I don't know, about half a centimetre maybe, in width, length. And that is perfect for doing this. So if you've missed our little tricks, my mum saw that on Facebook somewhere along the lines. And yeah, it works really well. So I have also done the same with the butterfly. And I just layered one up on the top here. So obviously I did one earlier because I needed to have one done as a backup, and I didn't cut out the butterfly for some unknown reason. I haven't done it, so we're quids in. So I'm not going to use this one. I'm going to use the one I did because it has got the butterfly on it, and that is going to be positioned on here, about there. You can go further up if you want. You could go over here if you want. It's not a technical Tina. It looks like a technical workshop card. It's not technical at all. This you could do with your eyes closed. So you could go wherever you want to put this. I'm going to go over here. Somewhere about there, I'm thinking. And we are then going to just pop again, glue on the back, just like you just did before, but you could go a little bit more heavy-handed this time. Pick that up. And just going to wipe that glue off there because then I can bring it back into the camera, more into the centre. Pop that down where I want to go. I may have to go back in and put a bit more glue on there because I left it a couple of seconds and there wasn't that much glue on that. Now I've given myself a little flappy up butterfly. But again, do whatever you like. If you'd rather that was flat, leave it flat. But I like doing it like this. It gives you a little bit of dimension. It really makes that pop on there. And it's really pretty. And then, last but not least, we have our sentiments. So we're using Well Done. I want a coloured Well Done. So I'm just going to... we're going to go with pink because I like pink, as you all know. Just going to change the colour of our cardstock here. That should be enough. Yeah, we'll get that cut out of that. Flat to the mat. The black and white does look good. Jules has said the black and white looks good too. Lovely card. Thank you, Jules. So we're just going to run that through there. And then we've got our Well Done. No, obviously there's some tiny little pieces up there. I've just heard my mum walk in the door. That means that Maisie's going to start barking in a moment, so bear with us if it gets a bit loud. Again, going to pop some glue on the back. And then layer that on top of our Well Done, just to make that pop as well. And we're going to pop that on there exactly the same way. Use that pastry brush because you've got all that detail from that die. Pop that on there. And we're going to go here. Well Done. And that is our card complete. So that is using our Crazy Daisy dies, and the sentiment came from our Shining Star die. Now give me 2 seconds just so that I can put this lids on these inks, because otherwise that's really going to stretch a very long way when we stick my card in it. And then I will run right back through those new dies with everybody, that because I know quite a few joined us a little bit later. So we'll get this all popped out of the way, and then, because I'll be really good at making a lot of mess, and that's not going to be much fun. And we'll run through those new bits. So these are now available on our website. They will be shipped out as quickly as we can. We've had quite a lot of orders already from lots of you that found them earlier. Amanda messaged me to find out if I was going to be putting them on today. So those of you that are regulars on here will know Amanda is usually on here. She's busy this evening. And so she messaged me earlier to see if they were coming on the website early. So lots of you have already found them. I've just got to get that glue off there so that then I can show you what we're going to be doing. Put that off to one side. So obviously the card that you've just seen, and then the new dies. So we have our Connect the Dots nesting die. If I move them along a little bit, we can do it like this, I think. Connect the Dots nesting die. So you get the 3 different sizes. Then we have got Shining Star. So you get the big star, you get the well done and the matting and layering, the thank you, congratulations, and the beautiful big happy birthday to you. You get the negative circles, positive circles, whichever way. And then obviously from this star, the big star, you get all the little stars as well. So that's those 2. Let me find that one so I can show you. So yeah, that is that set. And for those of you that don't know or have missed previously, which you may well have missed here, is all our dies are pink. So they will all be pink when they arrive to you in your lovely little packaging. So we've got our Shining Star. Then we have got the one we just used, which is our Crazy Daisy. So this one's got 8 dies in it. So you get the big flourish, and then you get the negatives and positives of the flowers, and then you get that little butterfly as well. Then we have got Flowers for Design. So you get a lovely flourish, you get the solids and the detailed flower set, and then you get the little leaves to go with it. So you get 13 dies with that one. Then we've got Blooming Corner Detail Die. So you get that lovely big corner, and then slightly smaller one, you get the flowers that layer on top of each of these. And then finally, the fabulous Fun Foliage Detailed Dies. So you get all of those leaves, 24 dies in this set. So it's a big set. You get all of those leaves and foliages, which as you saw on some of the sample cards earlier, so if you want to go back and look, you can see there's some really fab ideas on what you can do with it. Or even if you've just got a flower that you just think the foliage with it is just too busy, then just die cut some of these. Really easy, coloured cardstock, away you go. How simple is that? So that's the card we've just made. Crazy Daisy. So we've got our quirky foliage in the background. Pop that on there with a little sticky up butterfly on there. Coloured in our background and layered that up so that you've got the shadow behind it. Hope you liked it. Now you get me. And I need to lower my seat. Look, this is how far I have to go down. Ooh. It's not going to go down now. I normally do that before I come back to you. Look how rosy my face has got. Got a bit warm in here. So I hope you all enjoyed that. As I say, the new releases are available on our website now. And then they will be on TV with us on the 13th of December. And I want to say it's 3 o'clock and 7 o'clock. It's a Saturday, 13th of December. But before then, you will be able to catch us at the Motorcycle Museum Excalibur Papercraft Show this coming weekend. and it's the last show of the year. Can you believe it? It just doesn't seem possible that we're less than a month away from Christmas. Where has this year gone, and what a year it's been. Hope you've all... Thanks, Carol. It's an old jumper, a couple of years now. But it's a cosy one. Carol says, love your jumper. Yeah, you don't normally get to see any of this, do you? So yeah, that's us for now. We're back for a Facebook Live, hopefully on the 11th of December, which is just before our TV. And then the next one after that would be Christmas Day, and I can't do one on Christmas Day. But we will be coming up with lots of videos and bits and pieces coming around, so keep an eye out. But at the moment, dates for your diary are the 11th of December for another Facebook and YouTube Live, and December the 13th at 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. for TV. Sarah, no, my tree's not up yet, but it will be. Yeah, so that's everything. Hope you've all had a lovely evening, and take care, look after yourselves, and we will see you all again soon. Bye.